Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Yoga in Wonderland. Today we are going to be discussing social media belief versus reality. There's so much more that goes into that small statement, but I have a lot of information for you guys, as well as my own experience with social media. And for a while, well, about a week actually, it wasn't very long, but for about a week, I actually did cut out social media dramatically. The only reason I kept any sort of social media was due to the fact people were coming to look at my apartment who didn't have cell phones, or just to give my number out to the select people that I still wanted to remain in contact with, that, I teach yoga to, or stuff like that, And so as some of you might know, I did take that small break from social media, but it really did teach me a lot. It really, really taught me a lot. And I actually ended up taking my break in the beginning due to the fact of my own thought processes, my own mentality about the whole social media and how it was becoming unhealthy for myself. And I would just like to share this with you guys in hopes that you can find your own, negative thought processes or behaviors or emotions connected with social media, because I feel like a lot of us do, without noticing, have these patterns of unhealthy thought processes, emotions, or just unhealthy behavior patterns with the social media. So, social media beliefs versus reality. The belief is that social media connects us. It brings us closer together. However, the reality behind it all is we have never been more distracted from ourselves, from each other, or from the universal energies, our own energy, in God, or whatever you believe in, spirit. We've never been more disconnected. And it's funny because that's why social media was created, so that we could become connected. And it's very much doing the opposite. A study was done at the University of Michigan stating that the more college students that use social medias like Facebook, the worse they felt, reflecting a similar response among high school age students in the US. A majority of the students claimed that the feeling of not using social media gave them great anxiety, creating something researchers call FOMO, fear of missing out, which is a very real thing. I see it in a lot of people. I saw it a little bit in myself, but I'm already pretty disconnected from going out and hanging out, and really don't, I'm not really focused on anyone else's life right now but my own. And so the whole FOMO thing wasn't as extreme for myself as it might be for others. Yes, social media can be a good thing. I'm not throwing it completely under the bus here. However, a majority might be mentally and emotionally affected without even realizing. Social media is a great tool to use when trying to connect with friends, family, or when trying to spread mass messages about a business event, or just out of positivity, like myself. It's kind of a mix of all that for myself, though. But just as it can be used for good, it can also be used for bad. Spreading messages of hate or bullying. Bullying is still a thing. It is still a thing. I'm 21, and I have friends who are 33 that are still being bullied, or still bullies, are still stuck in this mentality. And it's ridiculous. I just really don't understand. I don't get it. So yes, it can be used for good, but it can be used for bad as well. it can also be bad because it becomes a mindless action or a coping mechanism for boredom, leaving a lot of people less productive than they could be, leaving a lot of people spending their time not as wisely. You're out in public. I do this. I'm guilty of this. You're out in public around people, and you're just like, okay, everyone's on their phone. Whoop, just pick up your phone and start, scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchatting your friends because everyone's on their phones. It's ridiculous. It's so crazy to me that someone calls you and they're like, hey, let's hang out, and then you go over to hang out and they're just do on their phone the whole time, and you're just like, well, man, I could have sat at my house and done this, or I could have been productive. I could have done something productive with my time, with my life, if I would have stayed home opposed to coming here just so we could be on our phones the whole time. I recently took a week, close to a week. Yeah, it was about 6 days, so it wasn't a full week. But I took close to a week break from social media. Besides checking the occasional message from those I needed to reach out to for business, I refrained from the scrolling. And this is what I came to conclude. So I refrained from getting on Instagram and looking at my inspiration or posting on Instagram or Facebook or on Snapchat. I didn't, go scroll and see what everyone's up to or anything like that. But this is what I noticed. My time opened up dramatically. Like, I had so much time throughout my day to be productive, to read, to flow. Like, it was pretty nice, actually, not even gonna lie. And work on my connection with Spirit and God. Experiencing amazing feelings and events that I most likely wouldn't have gotten a chance to experience if I would have continued to use social media the way that I was prior to taking my break. I felt so much better about myself, like unbelievably better about myself by the end of my break. For myself, social media became very unhealthy for my mental stability and and thought processes surrounding it. So the people that I used to look up to as inspiration, especially when it came to my practice, I grew a little envious of how far along they were in their practice, even though they might have been practicing, for 10 years and have been a yoga teacher for 5 years, and so the people who used to inspire me no longer did anymore. I was always wishing I was further along in my progress. And I would even catch myself saying, like, oh, one day, I can't wait. And after saying this to myself for a period of time, it really had a damper on how I viewed myself, how I viewed my practice, and how I walked my everyday life. So for myself, it was very detrimental in the sense of, I was so worried about everyone else's progress and everyone else's, adventures and where they're going in their life and what they're doing. And I know I'm not the only one guilty of this. You see a friend of yours, out on the town with, another friend of yours, and you're like, why wasn't I invited? Like, man, come on. I'm like 5 minutes away from you guys. Why wasn't I invited? Or someone goes on this marvelous trip somewhere and you're just like, oh man, I wish I was in Florida, or like I wish I or I wish I was in Colorado. Like, we're all guilty of this. We all are. And yeah, for others it might not necessarily be about those who motivate them. So again, it might be those that you have a past with, your friends, an ex. You can see, it's it's very much an envious thing. It's very much a man, like, look how good they're doing and everything like that. But like, even then, social media is such a facade. Social media is such like this mask that people put on, and they're like, look how great I am. My life's so wonderful, and everything like that. And you know, their life probably isn't that wonderful. It's the same with relationships. I see it all the time. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, look at this cute picture of me and my boo. And then, like, you know, they fight behind closed doors. They even put their hands on each other behind closed doors. And it's not everything that it's cranked up to be. It's really not. It's this unhealthy outlook on other people's lives, and it's an unrealistic standard that we are all set to. And that's with any media for you. For myself, growing up, I should have known better with this social media, but I didn't, and now I do. But growing up, I had an eating disorder, and so social media was very detrimental. Not even social media, it was more just like media in general, was super detrimental for that, because it was like, you know, skinny girls everywhere. Oh my gosh, look at her, she's a model, da da da. But you know, that's not even what they look like in real life. That's not even it. They're whatever, brushed and makeup put on by professionals and freaking hips tucked in by like a computer or something. Like, you know, it's just not real. It's not realistic, and everyone is so, that's the scary part. Everyone is so sucked up into it, and it's not real. It's not realistic, and it's just like really scary when you think about it. Like, it's really scary to think that we are so submersed into something that's not even real. It's not even like a realistic standard or ideal of what one's life is. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my notes because I'm kind of getting off track a little bit, and this is why I took notes, so that I wouldn't get off track. Okay. um, do, 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 do. Okay, over time, this can start to hinder our growth and outlook not only on ourselves, but the world around us. We become ungrateful. That's what I was looking for. We become ungrateful, we become resentful, and become obsessed with the instant access to know everyone's business, to be able to share our own, and with the emotional validation that seems to come along with social media. This is so important. Everyone jumps right on social media for emotional validation, for whatever's going on, and that is just really unhealthy. Very, very, very unhealthy. Because if you can't emotionally validate yourself, then you need to reevaluate yourself and your life and what you're doing, because you should come first and foremost in your life. You really should. You have to be number one in your life. You got to be your own best friend, and if you can't emotionally validate yourself, then there's an issue that you need to really, really sit down and reassess, because it's very, very important that you're able to validate yourself, you're able to pick yourself up and really stand on your own 2 feet and not have to have anybody there to hold you up, you know. During my time away, I did hang out with some friends, and I realized just how often everyone is glued to their devices. I would unlock my phone during those times to realize I had undownloaded everything on my phone, and would lock it and proceed to entertain myself through flow or reading or cleaning. And that's just, you know, you have so much time to work on what you actually love, and this is so important too. This is like completely off topic, but do what you love in your life and worry about making money with it later. Just follow what you love. Follow what you love, and you are going to have so much fulfillment in your life. It doesn't matter who believes in you. It doesn't matter if it's cool or not. It doesn't matter, if it's like the trend or what's in or whatever. If you fill your time with what makes you happy, you are going to be happy. Okay, back to... Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but back to this. Okay, so I would continue to entertain myself. I believe that when social media was thought of, it was a great idea, but as always, too much of a good thing becomes toxic for us. After coming back onto social media, I do feel better about it. I catch my problem thoughts and feelings as they are happening and automatically put my phone down and locked away. I work on what I need to do, being productive and taking care of myself through doing what I love to do. So when I say after coming back onto social media, I catch my problem thoughts and feelings, that's when, before I took this break, I would have that thought of, oh, I wish I was further along, or I wish I had this down, or I wish I was just here already. I realize when I start to have that thought or feeling, and then I'm like, nope, put my phone down, do something that I love to do, really take care of myself, because I deserve it, and I'm worth that, and so are you. And I think everyone should take a break from social media for a little bit and just be by themselves. You can even hang out with friends, but you're just going to realize, how often everyone else is on their phones, and it's honestly a really cool experience. So maybe it'll be a good thing. I think it would be a good thing. Okay, back to this. Okay. I'm not saying get rid of it completely, because I didn't necessarily get rid of it completely. I know how it is to work from home or from your devices. That's a big part of my job in advertising, teaching yoga, and everything. That's a really big part of my job, because nowadays that's where a lot of advertisement goes, is social media, opposed to a billboard or posters around town. People are staring at their phones too long to see your poster. However, I do believe a few days without it, or can you just, okay, this is what I'm dealing with, by the way. Can I work? Okay. Sorry. I really love my cat. Anyways. Okay, however, I do believe days without it would do us all good, to recenter and to realize exactly where we stand when it comes to social media and how to make it a better place for ourselves. And then also spread the word and try and make it a better place for others. And then all of a sudden, it's a better place for everyone. That's how that works. I'm currently in the process of going through all my friends and those I follow and deleting those I don't know who post things I'm not interested in, seeing normally negativity or drug related, and only following and being friends with supporting, loving people and pages. Also following and supporting pages and people who are small businesses, or they're doing everything I've talked about. They're going out and they're doing everything they love, and I just really want to give as much support as I can to people like that, because I feel like I'm one of those people. I just kind of go out and do what I love, and try and impact people in the world around me as I do so. And so I want to support like-minded people like that. I think people who do that are a freaking blessing to this world, And that's really all I have to say today. I actually did want to throw in that back on the topic of everyone's lives being a fake facade online and everything. I'm trying to make like I'm just starting with myself. I haven't really evaluated how to start with others, but I'm really starting with myself to put down any fake facade that I might have put up before my break from social media and before realizing all of this stuff. And now I'm just trying to be more real. I'm trying to be more genuine to myself and just really just be myself and express myself and hope that others follow my example, I guess, or they understand that, doing this and putting that fake facade on is really tiring. And then eventually you're like, who the hell am I? And it's just like really sad. Don't lose yourself because of social media and how people view you. That's really sad. Be true to yourself, be authentic, and love yourself and what you do. And my cat is literally putting her nails all in my skin. Okay, well, yep, authenticity right here, guys. Okay, well, that's really all I have to say today. I am going to do another discussion. I'm just not sure when. I still am writing up all the notes and paperwork about it, but it's going to be about negative energies, negative people, family members, and thoughts, and how to deal with them. Jesus. Are you done? Now you're cute. Okay, anyways, negative people, negative situations, negative thought processes, how I dealt with them growing up, how I deal with them now, and how to kind of avoid them. And you can't really fix them, but how to fix them, kind of. I'm still making all the notes for it, but tune in, and I will let you guys know when it is up. You can follow my Instagram at Yogi Wonderland 1996 or my Facebook page, Yoga in Wonderland, and that's where I post all my updates and everything. I love you guys, and we will talk to you later. Say bye to the nice people.